These next 6 months will require the most focused and intense civic effort in most of our lifetimes. It's time to lock in. The time for worry is long past over, and now it's time for work. Not for my sake, not for our party's sake, but for our country's sake. Because we face a political crisis, an economic crisis, and a moral crisis all at once. And Georgia Democrats, there's no easy way out. The only solution is victory. And so we need the unity and resolve not just to win, but to win big. Georgia Democrats, are you ready to win? Now, I don't know if you saw, but the president apparently promised pardons for the entire White House staff. Did y'all see that? Which I guess is the kind of thing you do when you run the White House like a casino. Now, maybe the West Wing's too busy placing Kalshi and poly-market bets on the war to care, but Americans are getting hurt. Hurt by the illegal tariffs that send prices higher and higher, by skyrocketing health premiums, by $4 gas. Hurt by insurance companies that deny claims for needed care. Hurt by the hedge funds snatching up tens of thousands of homes across our state. Hurt by the data centers driving up power bills. And so when you're out there talking to folks over the next 6 months, remind them what the President of the United States said last week. Quote, "It's not possible," he said, "for us to take care of daycare, Medicaid, or Medicare." That's what the President said. He said we can only afford to fund war. And then 2 days later released his budget demanding we increase Pentagon spending to $1.5 trillion per year, paid for by ending the program that helps millions afford utility bills, by canceling affordable housing programs, and by cutting cancer research. All this just 1 year after they sent insurance premiums skyrocketing and gutted Medicaid to cut taxes for the rich. This is their answer to America's cost of living crisis. This is their answer to the Savannah nurse working a double shift whose utilities are about to get shut off. The Tift County farmer getting crushed by the trade war and now diesel and now fertilizer. The family in College Park skipping doctor's visits because premiums are just too high. In Donald Trump's America, the rich get tax cuts, the well-connected get stock tips, and everybody else makes sacrifices. But Americans have seen through this scam, and it's up to Georgia Democrats to end it. Are you ready to win, Georgia Democrats? Now let's just take a moment and try to wrap our heads around Donald Trump's war. 13 brave Americans killed and hundreds wounded. Thousands of civilians dead. Military equipment it will take years to replace. Skyrocketing inflation. Massive damage to our reputation and position in the world. But Iran's ballistic missiles and drones are not destroyed. The regime is intact, along with its ability to throttle the global energy supply, along with its stockpile of highly enriched uranium, which it only assembled after Donald Trump shredded President Obama's Iran deal. And for all this, the White House said they already need $200 billion. $200 billion after 6 weeks. That's 10 years of nationwide pre-K. That's 9 years of paid family and medical leave. And while our national power and wealth are squandered and families are made to pay more for everything, rest assured, the Mar-a-Lago mafia are finding ways to profit. Because of course they are. The Financial Times reported, quote, Pete Hegseth's broker looked to buy defense fund before Iran attack. A company owned in part by Eric and Don Jr. has been pitching Gulf monarchies on its drone interceptors. Jared Kushner is already on the Saudi payroll to the tune of $2 billion, and he's been soliciting billions more from princes and sheikhs across the region while leading negotiations on Iran. And then there was the insider trading on oil. Did you all see this? Hundreds of millions of dollars in oil futures. Just minutes before a presidential Truth Social post moved the price of oil 13%. Now, I don't know who placed those trades, but I'll tell you this. The SEC better find out. And if they won't, when you elect this new majority in Congress and you give us gavels and subpoenas, we will. We will. The founders of our republic must be turning in their graves. And it's not just the corruption and incompetence, it's this unmistakable project not to lead but to rule us as subjects. The president who once tried to overturn his own defeat now tries to jail elected leaders of the opposition, tries to prosecute Americans who defy or criticize him, and tries to seize control of elections nationwide. Freedom is rare. Stretching back beyond the horizon of recorded history, most humans who have ever lived have lived at the mercy of lords and masters and kings. But we are a nation founded on the rejection of kingdom, founded on the radical idea that all human beings have a natural right to liberty. Dr. King said of our Declaration of Independence, quote, "Never before in the history of the world has a socio-political document expressed in such profound, eloquent, and unequivocal language the dignity and worth of human personality." And from those founding ideals, despite our sins and through courageous struggle, the flame of American freedom has grown brighter and bolder and given hope to the whole world. But in the winds that blow today, that light is flickering. And of all the freedoms hanging in the balance, none is more precious than the right to vote. None. And in Georgia, we know better than anyone that the election deniers are on the march. The Fulton County raid, the executive order attacking voting, the MAGA loyalists on our state election board, they've made their plans very clear. And Georgia Democrats are prepared to answer with mobilization so massive and a defense of voting rights so fierce that no plot against the franchise can foil the will of the people. Because how foolish of them, Reverend, to come to the cradle of the civil rights movement, to spread those lies and seize those ballots. How foolish to launch an attack on voting rights here at the political and spiritual center of the very black history they seek to erase. Their attacks only strengthen our resolve. And if all of us here do what we must do, the sound of feet marching to the polls this fall will be heard in every corner of our state. And it will be heard all the way up on high where Congressman Lewis will look down and see a job well done. Georgia Democrats, are you ready to win? Now, the crisis we must meet is deeper than this presidency. Y'all hear me? It's deeper than this presidency. Trump's rise is proof that business as usual has failed, that our politics, sickened by corruption, is failing the American public and compromising our national integrity, and that the hour is late to fix what's broken. Our task is not just to contain this wickedness, but to repair the brokenness beneath it and advance toward a new era of reform and progress and justice. And in that struggle, these midterm elections will be decisive. It's all coming down to Georgia again. And you better believe we're ready. You better believe we're ready. This team right here in this room, this is the same team that's delivered for the nation before. I remember Governor Beshear when Raphael and I were running in 2020, and we'd call people up and ask for help, and they'd tell us, well, maybe if we win in Maine and North Carolina and Montana and Iowa, maybe you guys have a shot down there. Well, it turns out we didn't win those other states. But in the early hours of January 6th, right before the president's mob sacked the Capitol, hope broke out across our nation because the people seated in this room had worked so hard and the people of Georgia had spoken so clearly. And this year, a wave is building, and it's the kind of wave that comes once a generation when the people have been pushed too far and they decide all at once together that enough is enough. All across Georgia, people of every background and belief are rejecting this chaos and this corruption. It's not just Democrats and independents. Republicans pull me aside or they call me on the phone and they tell me they're afraid of where this president is taking us. They want checks and balances. They're voting for a Democrat for the first time in their lives. And we welcome them to our coalition. A wave is building, but nothing is guaranteed. This is still the most competitive and crucial battleground state in the United States. And so I say again, the time for worry is over, and now it's time for work. Work to elect Jen Jordan and Miracle Rankin on May 19th to serve as justices of the Supreme Court of Georgia, where they will stand as sentinels defending the rule of law and civil and human rights. Work to elect a Democratic governor who will expand Medicaid, reopen hospitals, and solve Georgia's shameful health emergency. Work to elect Democrats up and down the ballot and to defend this United States Senate seat from the 3 Trump puppets who would make it his. There's a lot to do, and the time to do it is now. And this room, this team, this party is battle-tested and ready to win. So Georgia Democrats, are you ready to work? Are you ready to win? Let's get it done. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.